Collis Temple Jr. has probably never walked into a room that he did not own, okay? Just point blank, when he walks in a room, he owns that space. You cannot help but see him. So the first thing that I think about when I think of Collis, if I were thinking of two words to describe him, are audacious. He's absolutely audacious. And then the other part about that also, that speaks to not only his ability to speak boldly, to own a position, and to speak up for others, is he's rooted in a family. His family story, his love for his children, but also the legacy of his family blows me away.
My grandfather, Collis Temple Sr., wanted to attend LSU as an African-American male and growing up in Louisiana. His mentality was, I pay taxes, we pay taxes. Those taxes go towards the flagship university in the state that we live in, and we should have the right to attend that university and reap the benefits of that. And long story short, the state of Louisiana at the time didn't see things the same way he saw it. So much so that they said, you can't come to LSU, but what we will do is he wanted to get his master's. He's got an undergrad degree, Collis Temple Sr. from Southern University in agricultural studies, but he wanted to come to get his master's at LSU. But the state legislature appropriated funds instead to send him out of state versus allowing him to pay his way to LSU to get his master's. They said, you can't pay to come here, but we'll pay for you to go somewhere else. So he ended up going to Michigan State because it had to be an A&M university. He went to Michigan State, got his graduate degree, and then interestingly, I think it was sometime between 15 to 20 years later, the governor of Louisiana at the time, the Governor McKithen, called and said, Mr. Temple, we would like you to allow your son to integrate the LSU basketball program. Clearly by that point, there already had been other African-American students attending the university, but there had not been anyone that played varsity basketball while attending the university. And my father begrudgingly accepted the opportunity, the honor, and at times the burden of doing that. He came to LSU and really did some phenomenal things and opened some doors. But thinking as a 17-year-old, there were undoubtedly some challenging circumstances and situations that he had to deal with. But he dealt with them and he became better and not bitter. And I think the state of Louisiana as a whole is a better state as a result of what he was willing to do and what he was able to do. My dad came in his freshman year. He played on the junior varsity, and then the next year he was on the varsity. Those first 2 years, Press Maravich was his coach. Dale Brown came in when my dad was going into his junior year and coached him his last 2 years of eligibility at LSU.
In 1972, when I came here, I was shocked by the way that young man from this state was being treated by people in this state, because there's so many good people and the things he had to go through, even with his own teammates. Collis was so anxious to do well. He was just going all over the place. He was like a human molecule, man. He was bouncing here and bouncing there, and I stopped practice one day and I called him over and I said, Collis, you're so enthusiastic, but you're out of control. So you got to get into control or I'm going to put you on the bench. So, yes, sir. Very, 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 very pleasant and very well disciplined and very bright, by the way. He was an honor student. So his dad called me and wanted to know if he could bring Collis to the office. So Collis and Mr. Temple came. Mr. Temple was a very articulate, bright man. And he said, Coach, I was just wondering, is there anything you can tell me that I can help you with? He said, why is my son sitting on the bench? He said, after he was a starter. I said, well, he should probably tell you, but I'll tell you. I said, Collis is really a nice guy. And he's had to go through so much racial prejudice here on things that have happened, even by people in this dorm. But I said, he just got a little bit out of control. And I said, I told him, if he can't get it together, I'm going to push it. So I can still see Mr. Temple bang the chest of his son. Stand up, son. He said, son, see that man sitting there? When you're at LSU, He's your dad. You do exactly what he tells you to do. Good family.
He got out, he actually played a few years in the NBA, 3 years in the NBA with the Seattle Supersonics and San Antonio Spurs. He was always moving forward, in my opinion, with the mentality of what can I do to help further other people's opportunities. And that really is how he's lived his entire life. How can I help better other people's situation?
We mainly at the Harmony Center, we provide services to the adults with disabilities, adult male and females with disabilities, across an array of populations that we serve. They started about 46 years ago. They had roughly about 5 staff people, including Mr. Temple, and about 8 individuals that they serve. Now, 46 years later, we're proud to say we have about 400 individuals that we serve and about 275 employees. As far as the services that we provide, for instance, the adult males and females, they attend day programs. So they have to, first of all, they're going to be diagnosed as adults with intellectual disabilities prior to the age of 22. And part of our commitment to a holistic approach to them is making sure that we attempt to allow them to remain independent as possible. We're proud to say that we're the largest Black-owned company in the state of Louisiana. 2 weeks ago, I get a call. It's about 6:30 in the morning. He say, "Pat, where are you?" I said, "I'm always 10 minutes away, Mr. Temple. Where you need me?" He said, "Come meet me at one of our facilities." Okay. He introduced me to a young man that he literally saw walking down the street. And I said, he introduced me. I said, "Mr. Temple, you know what?" He said, "Pat, we need to help this individual." He said he has troubles. We find out, you can tell by the look of the individual, he was somewhat disheveled, clothes, and I found out later he was homeless. He was also suffering from mental illness, drug addiction. So Mr. Temple saw him walking down the street and said, I want to help this individual. Proud to say, by close of business that day, we had put that individual in contact with the proper sources to help his mental illness, to also help him with his drug addiction, and we also was able to connect him with a community source to give him a housing. No stopping Mr. Temple. You know, he's north of 70 years old now. I may get in trouble for telling you all that, but he's not stopping. He still gets up at 4:30 in the morning every morning. He still meets with a maintenance team at 6 o'clock in the morning every morning. He's still going throughout the day, 12, 16-hour days. He's still going. So that's only due to his vision and his vigor, and also serving and his willingness to serve his community. Because if he sees the service is needed, he's gonna jump over the moon to make sure those services are delivered to the people who need them most.
And I know that at grandmother and grandfather looking down are extremely proud of what you've done, of the impact that you've made, and of the immediate family, the nuclear family that you've built, but the impact you've had on the city and the state, and really the entire Southeastern Conference as a whole, and ultimately the nation. When I think about the ripple effect that you have had, there will undoubtedly be more people who you touch that you will never meet than the amount of people that you've touched since you've been here. And you've touched thousands and thousands and thousands of people.
And I would personally like to tell him thank you for the opportunities he's given me. Thank you for the opportunities he gave my family. Working for him broadened my horizon. It helped me become more acceptable of those individuals with disabilities, because until I worked for him, I had never had any contact. So you get in there and you find out that, of course, they are humans. They need our help, and we are very good at providing those services. And it also helps me introspectively figure out that just about all of us can attain whatever we put our mind to.
The history of education that Collis has been a part of is amazing. But what blows my mind is I'm thinking about the guy that I remember meeting, and I did not know who he was, welcoming me to Baton Rouge. And in that video that now all of us have seen of him, on May 26th, when he announces that William Tate will be the next president of LSU, he's got tears in his eyes, and once again, he's breaking boundaries, he's speaking in the community, and he's doing it in a powerful way. What I love about it is, it's not just the legacy that Collis, and I'd argue a lot of the people that we celebrate are making, because legacy somehow seems like something historic. I'm excited about the investment that they're making in the future. So it's happening now, and you see how it's gonna pay off in years to come. I am so honored and so excited to have Collis be recognized by this college, for him to be so present in our college. There isn't a more worthy recipient for this award, and this is the perfect time to celebrate a true LSU legend and just a true bedrock of this community. Congratulations, Collis.